We need to go 3, 2, 1. Hi! Okay.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Hi! I'm Brianna.
And I'm Cora.
And
this is Roommate Activities. Today we're gonna do our top 5 pieces of mermaid media from our childhood.
Worst to best.
Ranked worst to best.
Spoiler!
Yes, spoilers for all the stuff.
Aquamarine. Aquamarine is set in the US.
It's about 2 girls, JoJo and Emma Roberts. I don't care what their names in the
Their
movie
names
were.
are Claire
I
and
don't
Haley.
care
Claire
what their
and
names in the
Haley.
movie were. Anyway, JoJo and Emma Roberts are stupid and 13.
They're
One of
clearly
them's-
not 13 in the actresses.
No, but they're 13. I mean, JoJo is supposed to move Haley. Haley's supposed to move. And they're sad because they're best friends. They're like trying to figure out a way that Haley would be able to stay. And then one night there's a big storm and a mermaid washes into Claire's grandparents' beach pool.
Yeah, like a swimming
I
pool,
know, it's a
but they
swimming
live
pool,
on the beach.
But Aquamarine shows up and she doesn't want to have to marry this prince guy that her dad wants her to get married to.
So Aquamarine's whole goal throughout the movie is to prove that love is real. So she kind of like peeks her eye at some jock. But he is old in the movie.
Yeah,
like he
it's
is
weird.
they're like
He's like
13,
17
yeah.
and they're all like 13. It's kind of creepy.
But he kind of like flirts with them a little bit like at the
Yeah.
end. It's kind of weird. Basically, the whole movie is her trying to get this guy who is highly sought after for his body. Definitely not his personality. But
Definitely not even his face.
yeah, he's very highly sought after by like middle schoolers, high schoolers, and mermaids. And basically it's just Haley and Claire trying to get this guy to fall in love with Aquamarine.
The twist at the end is that like she asks him if he loves her and he's like, we just met. No.
Yeah.
Obviously.
It was actually really cool.
Yeah. He was like, I like you a lot, but like we've known each other for 2 days. And then Aquamarine is like upset because she thinks she's not gonna be able to prove to her dad that love is real, but the love that Haley and Claire have for her as friends is enough to prove to him. And so she's able to go home and not be forced to marry this guy. The reason we put Aquamarine in 5th place is because, 1, it was the worst as far as mermaid design on our list. There was hardly any detail on her. She really wasn't even a mermaid for like most of the movie. She didn't really get like that experience. Like she didn't have a tail, she was just a person.
And her design was pretty lazy. For part of the movie, she didn't have a top, which is really strange for a children's movie. Like, her hair would just cover it, or they would just focus on the tail. So that was pretty poor design-wise.
It felt kind of like a cop-out, like they only had to do a tail.
And the tail was definitely the most boring out of all the tails on the list. It didn't exactly look like a fish tail.
Yeah, it was all scales. There were no fins or anything like there are in a lot of these other mermaids. And it was all one color. There was no design to it. We'll show you a picture.
And we didn't see any other mermaids, so we don't know if there is any difference between the designs of male mermaids, female mermaids.
Which leads us into kind of like the lore and like the backstory. We didn't get a lot of that in this movie. There was more lore than like in a lot of the other like media that we're going to talk about, but it was still kind of like in the middle as far as backstory on all that.
Compelling narrative-wise, it was ranked lowest on our list for narrative. We don't understand her motivations very well. She ran away from home to escape marrying a prince, I suppose, and she has to prove that true love exists. So it's kind of a Little Mermaid-esque story, but
Not exactly, and it also doesn't really focus on the mermaid aspect very much. It really is more about the 2 human characters who are helping her. And so you don't get to see her motivations, like, throughout the movie. You only get to see, like, what she shows to them. On our list, Aquamarine was ranked lowest in 3 of the categories. In one of the categories, it was number 2, but that was only because the other options were even worse as far as lore. So, there's not a lot of mermaid lore. We need more.
more mermaid lore.
Mermaid lore 2K19.
the Barbie doll.
The Barbie doll doesn't have a story. It's a doll. We'll put a picture of it.
We love the Mermaid Barbie.
You can move its tail.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Obviously, we couldn't talk about narrative or personality with this, unlike with like the movies and TV shows. But
we personally felt that the Mermaid Barbie came with more personality than Aquamarine. But if you met the Mermaid Barbie and you met Aquamarine, I feel very strongly that you would agree.
Mm-hmm.
Because...
You'll see. We'll do a side-by-side comparison, and there's just more emotion on the Mermaid Barbie's face
than there's ever any... Even when she is facing death, there's just... It's not enough.
No.
And you can give the mermaid doll, like, a fun, like...
Mm-hmm. You can make your own story, too.
Yeah.
You can make your own narrative, and it can be redone over and over and over.
And the Mermaid Barbies, there's, as far as I've seen, there's 3 different mermaids that have different names, and they have different color schemes.
Yeah, and they came as, like, not like a set, but, like, they came out at the same time, so they're, like, one type of Barbie that you could get at one point. I had one of them. It was very entertaining.
Yeah, I definitely had a Mermaid Barbie. I don't know if she was the type with the set, because she was just the one where you put the cloth over the Barbie legs, so it looks like a mermaid, but the legs don't...
They're not, like, permanently a tail. Like, the one I had, only you had the tail, it didn't have any legs.
The Little Mermaid. So, there's a mermaid. Her name is Ariel. She is 16 years old. She is the youngest daughter of the king of Atlantis. She wanted to be human forever, forever, forever. Yeah, she sings songs about it. We love the songs, obviously. And then she sees that there's a ship sailing, and she's like, we must go to the ship. So she swims up to the ship, and she sees a beautiful prince.
The ship sinks.
Oh, and she saves him. Yes, she saves his life.
So it's not just her being enraptured with him. She's singing to him while he's kind of like half passed out on the beach, and he remembers her, and he's trying to find the beautiful girl who saved his life.
So she goes to see the sea witch, Ursula, who takes her voice in exchange for a pair of legs.
And she has to make Eric fall in love with her, even though she can't.
And in
tell
Disney
him who she
movies,
is.
fall in love means
Kiss.
a kiss. Her goal throughout the movie is to be allowed to remain human. And just in doing that, she needs to, like, get a kiss from Eric. In the end, Ursula turns into a beautiful woman. She uses her sea witchy powers to turn into a beautiful woman, and she uses the voice that she stole from Ariel to convince Eric that she was the woman who saved him when the ship wrecked. And she uses her witchy powers to make him fall in love with her. And they're gonna get married.
They're gonna get married. They're on a boat, and Ariel and her friends go, and they manage to stop the wedding, and Ariel gets her voice back, and Eric realizes, you're the girl who saved me. I have to marry you immediately.
Yeah, and then they have an epic battle with the sea witch.
And they win, obviously. And even though she loses the legs that she got from Ursula, her father decides to give her the legs because he sees how happy she is with Eric.
So for mermaid lore, we had that kind of in the middle on our list. It's not...
They don't go into it too much. Like, there's a lot of other mermaids, but they don't really talk about it. It's really more about, like, humans.
Narrative-wise?
Narrative, we gave it a pretty high score because it is a good story. I mean, it's a classic.
Yeah. We talked about the design of Ariel, and you see Ariel's sisters as well.
There's a lot of other mermaids, and what we liked about this one is that they didn't all look the same. There's another one on our list that we'll talk about where you see multiple mermaids, but they all look the same.
One thing that I do like about The Little Mermaid is that they show that Ariel is, like, different from the other ones because she has a different colored top. Like, she has a purple top and a green tail, and all her sisters have, like, the same tail and the same top, and, like, they're all... I mean, they're not all that
Yeah,
different.
they have, like, their kind of, like, unique details, but for the most part.
Yeah. And unless you watch, like, the TV show, which I don't know if anybody but me has ever had the time to watch the TV show, you kind of get more into their personalities, but in the movie alone, they're pretty much, you know.
They're just kind of like background characters.
Yeah. Mermaid personality of
Ariel has a lot of personality, but we're not sure we like it.
Yeah. I mean, for a 16-year-old, though, like, she's just your typical 16-year-old, but she's got a tail. And then one thing that put her kind of lower on our list for me for the personality was, like, she didn't want to be a mermaid.
Yeah, there was that, and then some of the other ones you get to see, like, multiple mermaids and, like, their different personalities. Like, there's not just one main character, but in this one, you mostly see her, and you kind of see, like, her father, but the other mermaids, you don't really get to, like, learn much about them, at least in the movie. Again, we talked about it earlier. If you watch, like, the show or the other movies, maybe you see some more, but we're only talking about the first original movie.
She is really fiery. She has not a temper, but she has her own ideas and opinions. And we discussed this earlier before we did this. Lots of people are always bashing on Ariel, talking about how she just wanted to go get a man or whatever. But she wanted to be a human well before she ever saw Eric. Eric was just the thing that, like, pushed her over the edge.
Yeah, she had that whole collection of stuff. It was clearly, like, already a point of contention with her father before she ever sees Eric. Barbie, Fairytopia, Mermaidia.
Barbie, Fairytopia, Mermaidia. The good stuff. This movie is a sequel, but it's also a standalone because it's good. So,
all good sequels are also standalone.
Yeah, if you didn't know that. But it's a sequel. In the first movie, Alina is a fairy without wings. So she is the hero. She saves the fairies. So she gets a pair of wings as a reward for saving the fairies. And kind of directly after she gets her wings, she is asked to go and save the mermaids.
Basically, the plot is that the prince, the mermaid prince, is captured, and this other female mermaid is looking for him, and so Barbie and what's her name? Alina, not Barbie.
Alina and Nalu. And the prince's name is Nori. They're going to search for Nori, and Nalu doesn't want her help, but Alina's like, I was specifically told to, like, do this, so
get out of my way.
I'm gonna help you.
Yep. And so Alina gets a magic necklace that allows her to have a tail so that she can swim better to go find the prince.
But the thing is, with the necklace, if she doesn't get to surface soon enough
and take it off,
she becomes a mermaid permanently and loses the wings that she worked so hard to get. And obviously that is a big part of the movie. She doesn't use the necklace until Nalu gets trapped in the depths of despair, which is a Disney movie, or not a Disney movie, it's a Barbie movie, so obviously she had to say that. But Nalu gets trapped, and Alina has to go rescue her. And she can't swim fast enough on her own, so she has to use the necklace to get the tail. And in the process, she does permanently become a mermaid. But then, once again, they're like, Doolulu.
They're like, you saved
you did it.
everyone.
You get even better wings. Her wings keep getting upgraded every good thing she does.
Also, she has a companion, Bibble. He's cute. Worth mentioning.
Typically, Barbie movies aren't, like, the best at addressing lore. Like, when you go into Fairytopia, they're not, like... It's not like Disney's Pixie Hollow, where they're like, the fairies are born from a giggle, and the little blah, blah, blah. Yeah. They're like, these are the fairies, and they're fairies because I said so. And that's kind of how it is with the mermaids. They're like, oh, you thought they were just fairies? There's mermaids, too. And they just kind of
get into it, because it is definitely specifically aimed at kids, unlike a lot of, like, children's media where it can kind of be for either.
There's not, like, with some children's movies where it's like, adult humor. There's definitely not.
There's none of that. Like, it's good messages for kids to learn. They're good movies, that's why it's second on our list, but...
Yeah. Narrative-wise, a compelling narrative for the Barbie Mermaidia. I find the narrative to be very compelling. We ranked it second on our list for storytelling. We haven't seen it in a long time. These are just based off of our recollections from childhood, so... Mermaid design was another big one for this one. They are so beautiful.
Yeah, and they're very distinctive. They're very, like, unique.
Yeah. When Barbie gets her mermaid tail, oh my god. It doesn't look like it looks on the cover of the movie, which is fine. I mean...
Who cares?
But, oh my god, so beautiful.
Yeah, we'll put a picture of a
Pink.
group of them so you can see.
Their designs are very distinctive, and they've got cute little fins, or like, kind of like skirt things, and their tops are all fancy, and they've got like hair stuff. It's insane. And it's very distinct to the mermaid. The mermaids do not look the same as each other, which I like, because...
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because, like, people don't all look the same.
Yeah. And I wouldn't want to be, like, swimming around looking just like my friends. That would be boring.
Speaking of swimming around looking just like your friends, number 1 on our list is H2O.
H2O. Yes.
It's a TV series. There's 3 seasons, but only one of them is good, and it's the first one. So we're only going to describe the first one. It's 3 girls, Ricky, Emma, and Cleo, and they fall into the moon pool, which is
on an island.
Yeah, it's an ocean pool in a dormant volcano on an island in Australia. So they end up at this island because they, like, go out on this boat and they get stranded up there. And the only way off the island is through the moon pool. And while they're in the moon pool, a full moon comes over and the water gets all bubbly and magic-y. And then the next time each of them touches water, they grow a tail. First, they're trying to figure out if there's a way to, like, stop it from happening. Like, if they can, like, sometimes, like, choose when they want to have a tail, even though if they get wet. And throughout the season, they, like, realize that, like, no matter what we do, we're gonna have a tail every time we touch water.
And there is a male character named Lewis who helps them. He's, like, the scientist friend of Cleo. He obviously has, like, a big crush on Cleo, but Cleo's got her sights set elsewhere. But he tries to help them figure out what's going on with them. He tries to help them with their powers. Generally, he's just, like, a nice guy, and he's the only other person outside of their trio that knows about the mermaids for, like, a long time. Yeah,
and there's kind of a point where there starts to be, like, more conflict to, like, come to the climax of the season 1, where there's a scientist who is kind of, like, getting too close to the secret, and Lewis is working with her, but not, like, against the mermaids. He's trying to, like, steer her away from them. But there's another character, Zane, who he and Ricky have a little thing going on. But he's also trying to find the mermaids because Emma saves him in one episode, saves his life, saves him from drowning. And he's convinced there's a sea monster. He didn't see her face, he just saw her tail. So he's convinced there's a sea monster. He's working with the scientist. Lewis is working with her, but simultaneously against her.
He's a double agent.
And so, kind of the climax of the series is, spoilers, this woman finding out and then thinking that they're giving up their mermaid powers, but it's revealed in the 11th hour that they didn't actually give up their powers, and that leads into season 2. I don't know what happens in season 2. I haven't watched it in a long time.
Yeah, I've only watched season 2 recently. It's because it's the only good one, so.
You mean season 1?
I meant season 1.
Season 1. We've only watched season 1 recently because it's the only one worth watching. I want to rewatch season 2 to see if it's good. I know season 3 isn't good because Emma leaves, and what is even the point?
Well, as we stated in our review, Cleo is the best.
Cleo's the best.
And Lewis is the second best, and I don't care about Emma and Ricky because
I
they
like
have
Ricky.
attitudes.
I like Ricky and Zane. Ricky's fun.
Ricky's fun, but she's kind of mean to Cleo sometimes. And so is Emma. I
But
don't know why
she's
they're mean to Cleo.
been hurt. We need to watch season 2. This one was pretty low on our list as far as mermaid design. Not because they looked bad. It wasn't like low, but they looked good. It was good, like, details, but they did all look exactly the same when they were mermaids.
And at least with this one, unlike with Aquamarine, at least they kind of, their scales, like, looked more fishy.
Yeah, they look like fish, and they've got, like, fins on the back. They've got tops, which look good.
Yeah. The tops, I do like the tops, because normally they're, like, a seashell thing, but in H2O, it was more like
It's kind of a
like
scale
scales.
idea,
Yeah. I was a big fan of that, but the design was kind of, like, a little lazy with not giving them their own, like, personal touches.
Especially because they all have such distinctive personalities and stuff like that. I feel like they could have incorporated that into the mermaid design.
So, mermaid design was the only thing it was not ranked very high on. Everything else, it was ranked number 1.
Yeah.
So,
Mermaid lore. First of all, H2O is a TV series, and there's a spin-off series called Mako Mermaids, but we don't talk about that. Just in H2O by itself, they go into a lot of, like, detail on the mermaids. And I know that if you watch the other stuff, it gets even more into it, but we felt like this one had, like, the most backstory, which was good, and also probably it didn't hurt that it was a TV show. They had more time to get into it.
And they had some interesting backstory with, like, before Cleo and her gang were the mermaids, there was, like, an older generation of mermaids, and, you know, they kind of, like, know what's up about it, and I thought that was cool.
They do have their own kind of thing with, like, the moon pool, the moon affecting their powers, especially the full moon, and the fact that they have powers at all is very unique as far as our list goes.
Their powers are pretty distinct as well, and I think they're more, they kind of go along with their personalities.
Yeah, that is one good thing, that as far as, like, visual design is lacking, the power assignment really, like, helps separate them and highlights their personalities.
The personalities was ranked very high as well.
Which, again, was because there's 3 main characters, they're all mermaids, you get to see each of their personalities. It is echoed in their powers.
Yeah. Like, you have the athlete kind of, like, not a prude, but she doesn't like to have as, like, much fun
bossy.
as the other. Yeah, definitely bossy. And then you kind of have, like, the tomboy, like, out there getting things done. And then
the kind of, like, more bubbly
yeah,
Cleo character.
We love Cleo.
Cleo's our favorite.
Cleo is definitely our favorite. The narrative.
Yes, the narrative is interesting. We mostly like watching the first season.
Yeah, definitely the first season.
Just because, like, it's got its own kind of, like, standalone thing, and it's, like, interesting with, who is it, the scientist that's kind of following them and figuring out their powers and why it's happening to them. Especially also learning about the other 3 mermaids.
Yeah, I do think it's cool that they have a, like, a human companion who is trying to help them figure all of this stuff that's happening to them out. I think he's probably one of the cooler characters.
And something that I really like about this is that even though, like, obviously it's, like, magic, there is, like, the huge science element, and, like, Lou is always trying to figure out a scientific explanation. And what was her name? The old lady?
Oof. Big oof.
I can't remember her name, but she's always telling them that, like, it can't be explained by science, it's magic. Louise Chatham. Miss Chatham.
Yeah. She's a freaky lady.
I
love her.
Tune in next time. It's just gonna be bad.
Vape Nation.
This is not a Vape Nation, please don't do it.
Nation.
No. We don't support vaping, don't vape.
We don't support vaping, and we don't support juuling. There goes our audience.
Bye. 3, 2, 1.
Barbie
Mermaidia.
Fairytopia.
Barbie Fairytopia Mermaidia.
Oh, Barbie Mermaidia, Barbie Fairytopia Mermaidia.
Barbie Mermaidia, Barbie Fairytopia Mermaidia.
That's
Is
what
that
it
the
says.
full title?
Well,
I think it's
either or.
Okay.
You get to pick.
Okay.
Whatever you want it to be.
Barbie Mermaidia.
Barbie
Fairytopia
Fairytopia Mermaidia. Whatever you want.